Bernie Sanders backstabs the Democratic Party in brutally honest interview. Now, it's funny watching Bernie Sanders agree with Schultz when it comes to the Democratic Party and how they are undemocratic. And he knows this, so that shows that Bernie Sanders knows this. He knows what we all been saying about the Democratic Party. The elites pick who they want. But yet he continued to back and support the Democrat Party. I don't get that. I don't understand that at all. So, but we're gonna play the clips because we got a few clips to go over here, and we're gonna discuss it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon, and that's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the Gateway Pundit by way of Vigilante Fox, and they report that Bernie Sanders just said the quiet part out loud, and Andrew Schultz got it all on tape. We got the receipts. In one of the most brutally honest interviews ever, Sanders admitted Democrats are a threat to democracy. Wow. He even pulled back the curtain on being robbed in 2016 and revealed his thoughts on a 2028 run. By the halfway mark of the 80-minute conversation, Sanders started unleashing truth bombs. He said the Democratic establishment sold out decades ago, trading working class voters for wealthy donors and out-of-touch consultants. According to Sanders, that's when everything started to fall apart. Wow. I mean, he knows this. That's what I don't understand. He knows this, but he continued to hold the Democrat Party water for him. But let's just get to the clips. Here we go.
70s, 60s, Democrats caught on that you could raise a lot of money from wealthy people. Mm. And it gets back to campaign financing and all that stuff. So you got a Democratic establishment now, which is funded by wealthy people. You have consultants who are really way out of touch with reality, who make a whole lot of money in campaigns. And working class is ignored. Donald Trump comes along and says, I care about you, which was a lie. So
I don't know if that's a lie. I'd give pushback on that. I think that it has to be proven that it's a lie.
All right, I'll prove it.
Yes, thank you. And you're right, I could look through rose-colored glasses, but the idea, I think that when people are struggling, anybody who goes, hey, I'm going to help you out.
Okay. I wish that clip was a little bit longer. But the conversation pivoted to Kamala Harris' crushing defeat, where Bernie Sanders got visibly upset. He recalled how Kamala's bloody consultants told her to campaign on, hey, everything's good. We're going to keep doing the exact same thing. So let's play the clip here. Here we go.
He ran on this idea of we're going to make it better for you, instead of Kamala seemed to run on this idea like, hey, it's good. We're going to keep doing the exact same thing, which is a losing strategy.
You got it.
So
that was her bloody consult. I mean, I know Kamala. She's a friend. She's very smart. That was what her bloody consultants told her to say. I begged them. I'm just between you.
Why can't she push back? Like at a certain,
you're right. Look, there's no argument.
And this is the problem I think a lot of voters had, is like they didn't even know if it was her. We didn't even know if Biden was president. We didn't even know if these were her talking points.
Facts. Then came a jaw dropper. Sanders was cornered by co-host Akash Singh. Sorry if I killed his name. Who got him to admit that, yes, Democrats are a threat to democracy. It happened when Schultz brought up how over the past 4 election cycles, Democratic voters had little to no real say in who their nominee would be. He flat out told Sanders that the DNC stole the 2016 primary from him. Sanders didn't deny it. So let's get to the clip here.
And we felt that over the last 4 elections, Democrats, we felt that we didn't have a say on who could be president. We talk a lot about the Republicans being autocrats and oligarchs and taking over democracy, but from the Democrat perspective, and I'm a lifelong Democrat, I felt like the Democratic Party completely removed the democratic process from its constituents. And I think they need to have some accountability of that.
No argument here.
I donated for you. I mean, I wanted you to, like, 2016. I was like, this is going to happen. This guy's going to do it. And it felt like they stole it from me. And I'll be honest, it broke my heart when you supported them.
Right.
Look, but you have, in the world that I live in, you got a choice. And I mean, a lot of people, including my wife, agree with you. But, you know, you're down to a choice. Is it going to be Hillary Clinton or is it going to be Donald Trump? Not a great choice.
But it ended up being him anyway, so why don't we burn it down?
Well, because it's easy to say burning it down means that children are not going to have, you know, food to eat, that the schools will deteriorate, people will not have health care.
I got it.
And I'm an elected official. I got to represent the people.
That's fair.
And I can't turn my back on.
But then could we not also say, if ostensibly there hasn't been a fair primary for the Democrats since 2008, are they not also a threat to democracy? We often hear.
Fair enough. That is, yeah, I'm not going to argue with that point. And that's why I'm proudly an independent.
But you continue to caucus with the Democrats, though. He said, I'm an independent, and you continue to caucus for them. You continue to hold their water. You continue to cape for the Democratic Party. They literally stole the election from you, and you allowed it to happen. You didn't fight. You didn't try to fight back or anything. You took your little book deal, your little your millions of dollars they gave you to ride off in the sunset and not question it. And you let the people that supported you down. I'm not one of them. I'm not a socialist. I never supported Bernie Sanders, but I saw a lot of those people that supported Bernie Sanders. They were upset that he just laid down and let them steal it from him. Sanders pulled back on the Democratic establishment, detailing how they despise dirty working class people without a PhD. He recalled how thousands of energized working class supporters would show up to rallies only to be met with hostility at official party events. Again, this is the same party he caped for. Let's play this clip.
The hatred that we felt in 2016, 2020 from the Democratic establishment. I'll give you an example. We would do rallies and we have thousands of people, often young people of color coming out, working class people coming out. They were great, full of energy. Yeah. And then we go to Democratic Party events. There'd be a few hundred people, mostly older, whiter, wealthier. And you saw the clash. And the establishment did not want to open the door. They hated the idea that all these people whose hands were a little bit dirty, who didn't have PhDs or weren't wealthy. Imagine walking in, it's my party, man. You ain't getting in.
Yes.
We will fight you in the most ruthless ways that we can. And that's the struggle. Are they going to open the door, or are they prepared to lose elections, literally, and maintain the
status quo?
Go down with the Titanic. So,
wow, and contrast that to Republican events. How everyone will welcome you, will open arms and stuff like that. They literally, it was a guy. There's tons of videos. You can just Google it. Tons of videos of Democrats and leftist supporters will come to these conservative events, will come to these Republican events, will come to Trump events, and they will welcome them in. Hey, come on in. Let's talk a little bit. Let's see if we can convince you to join our side. And they friendly them and stuff like that. But then if you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican and you go or a conservative and you go to these leftist events, you get yelled at, you get spit on, you get chastised, things thrown at you. It's definitely a huge difference. And then these same people, these same Democrats, Republicans that do that, when they go to the party events with the elites shut them out. But they continue to support the Democrat Party. I don't get it. But it didn't stop there. Sanders went on to blame the Democratic establishment for destroying his 2016 run with the coordinated smear campaign. When asked who labeled his grassroots supporters as racist and misogynist, Sanders didn't hesitate. It was the Democratic establishment. He admitted that the Democratic establishment worked hand in hand with the media to push this myth to destroy his campaign. I think this is the last clip here. Oh no, we got a couple more clips. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and play this one.
We have a question we want to ask about what happened to you in 2016 with this Bernie Bros movement, where your followers are seeing they have a racism problem, a misogyny problem. Do you think that's a super PAC thing behind that?
That was the Democratic establishment. That was the.
Wow. Okay.
That was just, they were sitting there. We had a lot of young people. We had people of color. And And they create this kind of myth with the help of the corporate media and all that stuff.
It's kind of interesting to that note is during this election, the podcast space, which the Democrats largely avoided, they feel had some influence in the election, and they started to label us the podcast bros and said that we were sexist and we were racist and bigoted. It's almost like it's the exact same strategy to get you out of there.
Yeah, that's what the liberal elite China does.
Yeah, they don't change the playbook, which is why it's so easy to read. It's so easy to see how they're going to attack you because they use the same methods. But the conversation ended with a surprise. Bernie Sanders officially ruled out a 2028 presidential run, saying, "I think I've run my last race." So let's play this last clip here.
Are you going to run for president?
Please ask, yes. I'm 83 years of age, so that is, I think I've run my last race. But,
now, does that mean...
Zero fair races.
Does that mean that this oligarchy tour is you passing the baton?
No, don't look at it like that. The oligarchy tour is...
I think we're all looking at it like that.
No, it's not a passing the baton. I happen to, I think Alexandria is great, but it's not my job to determine who the new leaders are. People have each of them, as I mentioned, in the House, there are a lot of great people. In the Senate, there's some good people. And there are people who are not in office right now. But the oligarchy tour was an effort to say to the country that there are people all over America who are going to stand up to this oligarchy. They don't want a government of billionaires. They're going to stand up to authoritarianism.
There you have it. I really don't know really what exactly to make of this. Maybe it just goes to show that Bernie Sanders is as fake as I thought he was. He was as fake as I thought he was because he basically echoing everything that people have been saying over the years about the Democratic Party, and he knows it. And he calls himself an independent, but he still rocks with the Democrat Party, even after they screwed him out of the 2016 election, which is just crazy to me. It tells me that this man got no balls. He has no chutzpah. He just lays down and follow. I mean, he gives lip service to the elite, to the Democratic elite, but ultimately he falls in line and does whatever they tell him to do. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.